All right, folks, what's going on? This is episode 743 of the First and Frame Rate Show. I am VF Baller. Over here, we talk about Georgia Southern and Atlanta Falcons football. Got two topics on deck for today. We're going to talk a little bit of Georgia Southern, and also we're going to talk some Falcons. So, trying to give you a twofer here for this episode. Thank you for the tremendous outpour for the support. For the YouTube being on Rumble. I mean, the viewership was great over there. I actually uploaded the video directly instead of it jumping from YouTube. So that was great. Also, thank you for everybody who's been listening to the show on Spotify or Apple Podcasts. The podcast is still running its course through the YouTube world for YouTube podcasts. Between that and Google Podcasts, it's still running its course. I think it's still on Google Podcasts up until April 2024. So you guys can listen to the podcast on those avenues. So everything is working out. It's just going to take some time, especially if you're used to listening to the show on YouTube. So if this is your first time here, welcome. I can be found on, like I said, YouTube and Rumble. Also on Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. If you want to follow me on X or Twitter, the handle is VF Baller. The website is firstandframerates.com. Let's just get straight into this. TJ Smith, defensive back, safety for Georgia Southern, has been excellent for the team. He had like 52 tackles and 3 interceptions for the team this current season. Former transfer, or former Wildcat that he transferred from the beautiful state of Kansas, K-State out there in Manhattan, Kansas. And he ended up coming back home to be at Georgia Southern. Now, he was back into the transfer portal, but there's been a report saying that he is going to withdraw from the transfer portal, and I think he's going to do his final year at Georgia Southern. I think it's a phenomenal move. It is a great move for him because it seems like he fits very well with this team, and also he continues to stay close to home. You don't want to try to move off to somewhere else and get lost in the sauce, because a lot of guys who transfer, they tend to do that. I mean, you see these guys jumping from school to school, and you don't really see them make much progress. There's no shade to them. They have to do what's best for them. But the odds are in most of these transfer kids, they're in their favor. In some cases, they don't even, get to school in some cases. But some schools that they go to is just, they're limited in what they, normally do at the school they begin with. And it's quite unfortunate. You look at a guy like JT Daniels, for instance, he had medically retired for all the things he's been through. I mean, he's been to Georgia, USC, West Virginia, went to Rice. He went to so many places. He just couldn't never get his footing down to where he could be solidified in a program. And I think at some point that's going to change, where a lot of these kids going to we realize, like, look, I can't jump from school to school all this time. It's a test run, but, you're deeply rooted in a place, especially if you perform well. And I think that's what TJ Smith, I don't know his whole situation, but this is a really good move for him, in my opinion. I think he does well in this secondary. Like I said, he had 3 interceptions, good bit of tackles. He's been really good for the team. And for him to continue to be here, that'd be absolutely awesome. So kudos to TJ Smith. I can't wait to see him play on the team this upcoming season. Hopefully he'll get 3 more, possibly more picks for the Georgia Southern Eagles in this upcoming season. So another person I want to shout out before I get into the Falcon side of thing is DeAndre Buchanan. I mean, how about this kid? He was named to the freshman All-American team. That is really cool. It's the 2023 FWAA freshman All-American team presented by Chris Doherty Mortgage. He had 23 kickoffs for 604 yards and a touchdown, averaging almost, 26.5, but he had 26.3 yards per return. Average was 10th best in the FBS. It's pretty cool. 142 yards on returns, including the 80-yarder kickoff return against Texas State. He had a 100-yard return against App State. Tying the school record for the longest kickoff in program history. So as a freshman, you love to see that, and hopefully he just gets better and better. And I think in his offense and even on special teams, he solidified himself to be one of the top guys in the Sun Belt. So that is absolutely awesome. Have to give him recognition. Now, let's get into the Falcon side of things. Do you know who this kid is? Maybe you don't, but nevertheless, we're going to talk about him. Jalen Polk. He's a wide receiver out of the Washington Huskies. There was just part of the the national championship game, and I like this pick. Do the Falcons pick him up? We need a number 2 receiver, and a lot of people in the mock drafts are saying that they may pick him at 43 overall. It would be an excellent pickup for the Falcons. This is all things considering if nobody trades their picks, because there's a possibility that the Falcons trade their picks and they will end up going forward to get a franchise quarterback. If they don't do that, if they just stay in pat at 12, or they get a veteran that's come in, you may get a pass rusher at 8, and you turn right back around and get Jalen Polk. I think he will be an excellent number 2 receiver, possibly a number 1 if Drake London, if Jake London doesn't continue that role. It's a good problem to have, because both of these guys will be on the field at the same time. If you have a good quarterback that can get them the ball, it's just going to make this offense more dynamic. You're looking at a Polk along with a Drake London, Bijan Robinson, Kyle Pitts, Scotty Miller in the slot. I mean, you're probably looking at a really good, weapon to add to this somewhat potent offense. The main thing is, though, we have to get the quarterback right. It doesn't mean anything. You can get all the weapons in the world, but if you can't get the quarterback right, it doesn't really mean much. But I think this will be an excellent pickup for the Falcons. I want to see it. I want to see it. I think in the second round, this is where you go. You go get you another weapon opposite of Drake London, and along with Kyle Pitts, Scotty Miller, Drake London. You got 4 guys that can catch the ball, and there's really no excuse. Even if Desmond Ridder's back there, which I don't think that will happen, there will be no excuse for this. And you know what? And to be honest with you, I'm not gonna keep you guys up too much longer with this episode, but I would say this: you bring a coach in here, you bring an offensive coordinator that could possibly fix Desmond Ridder. Would that be ideal? You bring another pass catcher. I mean, I don't know. I mean, I don't think you can, but I just don't see it happening. And, sometimes I look at stuff like this in my mind, wonder a little bit, but I just don't see that happening. The only way that really happens if you just have to get like somebody like a quarterback guru, because I don't think that his talent and his abilities are a problem. I think it's all up here, because he makes some of the craziest throws because of what's up here. And I don't think Coach Arthur Smith really gave him a fair shot with some of the play calling in the scheme. But I still think we're gonna go quarterback, whether it be veteran or in the draft. But it's just something to think about, because with all of these weapons, can you put damn near any quarterback in that position? And I think that's the basis of what I'm trying to say. I mean, there's some mock drafts out here saying that Jalen Nails could be at number 8. You go get him and turn right back around and get Polk. What does that do to your pass rush? I mean, I think the pass rush is okay, but you want to try to get that bona fide guy that can get at the quarterback immediately. So it's just something to think about. I don't know. I look at it at the end of the day, and in the second round, if we still have that 43rd pick, I think this is where you would go. Maybe you may have to move up a couple of slots depending on the team to get him. But to get another offensive weapon in the second round for Drake, to be on the opposite side of Drake London, it's not a bad idea at all. It's not bad at all. I just think at the end of the day, really, you just need to get the quarterback right. Whether Desmond Ridder does get fixed, which that's highly unlikely, or you just bring a veteran in, or you get a rookie quarterback to fix what has been ailing this team. It's just the quarterback position. But TJ Smith, awesome. Good to see him, coming back to Georgia Southern. Jalen Polk is not a bad option at all when it comes to a second round pick for a number 2 receiver, possibly number 1. Just depends on how him and Drake, is slotted. Whatever offensive scheme, whatever coach brings in, these 2 guys together would be great. Then you have Kyle Pitts coming back. I mean, he's been here, but coming back off of that injury significantly, like he said that his injury is going to be fully healed, and then you got a pretty potent offense. The backfield, the running backs is nice as well. So the offensive line is pretty good, and like I said, with Jalen Polk coming in here, Dude had almost, he had over 1,100 yards, in 2023. You want to see a little bit of that production here with the Falcons. So if you like this commentary, hit the like button, share this podcast, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Let me know what you guys think about TJ Smith, Jalen Polk. I think it's going to be a really good look. I could be found on YouTube and Rumble, also on Anchor, Spotify, Anchor, Spotify, Apple, and Google Podcasts. YouTube Podcast is still running its rounds, trying to get there where it needs to be as far as being updated. I can be found on X or Twitter at VFBaller. The website is firstandframerates.com. If you want to donate to the show, PayPal and Cash App links are below. And I just thank you guys. You guys are awesome. So I'm going to get up out of here. Thank you guys once again, and I'll see you on the next one. Y'all take it easy, and y'all be blessed. Peace.